Hi, it's Tony from Wild Spider Designs.
One of the most frustrating things about crafting can be wonky letters and sentiments on your projects. So today I'm going to show you a simple way to get them straight and in perfect alignment. Our first step is to make a sticky roll board. So I'm using a 300 GSM piece of card, which I've printed my lines on, so you can either download and print the free PDF file, which I've put a link to in the details below, or if you don't have a printer, simply draw lines in pencil the length of the A4 piece of card at around about 1.5 centimetres or 10/16 of an inch intervals. So just unwind your roll and pop the side that you want to line your letters and shapes up with directly down onto the sticky roll. Trim off any excess. Give it a good burnish, removing any air bubbles. And there we have a sticky roll board ready to use. Now the three main ways which I use my board is with shapes and letters, peel-offs and die-cut sentiments. And I'm going to quickly show you how to do each one. So we're going to start with our happy birthday card. So we'll take the front of the card and we're going to just line it up on the board. And we're going to use some finger lift tape just to mark out the areas, because I want to make sure that I don't take up too much space on the card where I need my letters to go. So just have the outline of the card laid out, and then we'll know how much room we've got. And then we're going to use this as a guide so we can arrange our letters exactly where we want them. So I've die cut these letters with sticky roll on the back already. So we just need to arrange them exactly where we'd like them, and then we can peel off the sticky roll and place them down, and then I'll show you how I lay them on the card. So I'll just get on with that and I'll be back with you in a moment. So now I'm perfectly happy with their placement. We can start peeling away the sticky roll from the back and placing them down straight onto the board. Now I tend to start at the beginning and the end of the word. There, we can just take it straight back off if you're not quite happy with where you've popped it. And then it's just a matter of doing each one and filling in the gaps between the first letter and the last letter. So if at any point you're not quite happy with how you've placed a letter, you can just lift it up because it's only on the sticky roll board, and just adjust it slightly until you're perfectly happy. There we go. Now I'm a happy bunny. And now all we need to do is take our transfer roll. Now I find the best way to do this is to keep it with the sticky side facing up, so that you can measure around about how much you need to cut away before you place it down on the letters. So we round about need that much. So just roll the difference back up onto the roll. Then we place the transfer roll straight down onto the letters. So if you wanted to, you could have kept the shapes at the side and cut out a bigger piece of stampers roll and applied the whole lot to the card, but I'm quite comfortable putting those down on the card. Then we lift up the stampers roll. Might need a little bit more of a burnish, depending on the card that you're using. It needs a bit of help, just give it a little bit of a poke, and then up your letters, and then they are ready to be placed down onto your card. So I've got my card all ready to go here, and my sentiment is ready to be placed down. So I'll just pop this on our mat and just line it up where we need it to go. Just give it a quick rub with your fingers, and the sticky roll on the back will do the rest. And then lift your transfer tape, pop that straight back in the roll because that will be good for another few uses. And this card is ready to have its gems applied and to be mounted to the back. Another way I use my sticky roll board is with sentiments I've cut out with either a die or my electronic cutting machine. So I've already popped sticky roll on the back of this before I cut it out. And we are going to use the negative of the die cut as a template to line up our sentiment on the board. So I'm just going to line this up and secure it in position with some finger lift tape. Then place the sentiment down and just have a little play with it until we're completely happy with where it is. Use a pair of tweezers or a craft knife to remove the sticky roll liner. And pop the sentiment back into position on the board. Now don't press the sentiment down too hard, as we don't want to have to burnish it too much when we're picking it up with the transfer roll. Then we remove the negative and take the piece that we used for the last project off the roll, and again we just pop it straight down onto the sentiment. Give it a quick rub. That might need a little bit more of a burnish. There we go. And now we pop this straight down onto our tag. Smooth it down and lift the transfer roll back up. And now we have a nice little tag with a perfectly straight sentiment. And of course, one of my favourite and original ways of using the sticky roll board is to use it with peel-offs. Now you don't see peel-offs quite as often these days, but I still have a healthy supply. And they are very handy if you want a quick sentiment on your card or project. Peel-offs can be a little bit tricky to line up, so I find this technique especially useful. It makes it a lot simpler and a lot quicker. So you can get your alignment perfect and get them nice and straight because you're following the line. And I'll pop a little handmade one on the back of the card that we made as well, I think. We put all that effort into it, so let's make sure they know. And then again, we're going to use the piece of transfer roll that we used for the last two projects. But we're going to trim it down just a little bit because we don't need quite that much. So we'll keep on using the piece of transfer roll again and again until it loses its stick. Sometimes the more you've used a piece, it could just need a little bit more of a burnish. So if it's not quite lifting up, just give it a bit more of a rub and it should pick up. And if it's been very fussy like this one, then we just give it a bit of a lift from underneath with a knife. And pop that straight down after we've lined it up. Give it a quick rub and peel away, and it's as easy as that. And then we'll pick up the handmade as well. Pop that on the bottom there. And there we have 3 simple but effective ways of getting letters and sentiments level and perfectly aligned on your craft projects.